Hey, what's up, you guys? A little late. That seems to be happening a lot more. But what time is it? Oh, it's 3 o'clock. I was about to say maybe people are headed home for the weekend, but maybe not. You might still be stuck at work.
It's raining here, so.
But maybe you're on a break at work, or you get a second. Your kids haven't quite woken up from their nap, and we wanted to kind of help you navigate the weekend and give you like a couple weekend tips. We've talked about it before, but I don't think it can be talked about too much. I mean, I don't know if you're anything like me, but the weekends are what always tripped me up. Like really, really tripped me up. And there's a couple things going on with that is I wanted a quick fix. One, I weighed myself way too much, and it would really mess with my mindset. But honestly, I deprived myself so much during the week. I pushed myself so hard during the week that then on the weekends, it was just like let loose. You know what I mean? I didn't see Chad very much during the week. And then on the weekend, I got to see him, and we want to eat out. We want to have a couple drinks, and it was like donuts. And I mean, it was like.
We went to town.
We did.
We made up for lost time.
And undid all the hard work from the whole entire week, which left me very frustrated. Like, what's the point? I don't know if you ever feel that way when you're trying to make a change or you're so bad. I honestly believe that most people really do want to feel comfortable in their skin, and they want the energy to chase their kids, and they want to be healthy, and they don't want to, go down a road that leads them to a shorter life or a less fulfilling life or the quality of life that they'll regret. But I do think it can get overwhelming, and I think weekends are something that's truly trip people up. And so Chad and I are like, hey, let's go live real quick. Griffin's about to have his birthday party, but let's go live really, really quick to give you guys a few tips. Last week we talked to you guys about kind of ranking your food, and picking out a couple of your favorites. We're not going to rehash that, but I am going to tell you a tip, something that Chad and I did for ourselves with all the kids coming over. Now, we're not big into like depriving our kids, you know what I mean? So we're not that crazy couple that no, you cannot have cookies or pizza. That's not how we roll. They still get some treats. I want them to have a healthy relationship with food. But I do know how my body responds to food, and I do know what my particular goals are, and how I want to feel on Monday, and I plan my weekend accordingly, and I give myself a couple tools. Like, for example, the kids are going to have pizza tonight, and I think what you have to do is you have to plan ahead, okay? You have to plan ahead, and you have to make sure that you are very intentional with your weekends, okay? And so tonight, we're going to have pizza too, okay? We're going to have pizza too. It's dairy-free, it's gluten-free, and that works better.
It actually tastes pretty darn good. It's not bad.
It's not really bad. It's not bad. And my body functions. See, I was willing to surrender. I mean, how long has it been since I had dairy, Chad? Like, it's been a long time. Many, many years since I've had a piece of pizza, like from Papa John's or something. But I was willing. You get to a point, and this is probably what you have to ask yourself. If you're thinking about logging off right now because you're like, this is crap. Like I want a 6-pack, or I want a size 4 or size 6, but I don't want to do all the hard work. I want you to know, and I want to have my cake and eat it too. Is that the right saying? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You said it right.
I want you to know that that's in a fantasy world. Okay, you can't. I know maybe we could when we were 16 and 14, and this is actually very science oriented. Like, we start at 25, we start to lose muscle mass very naturally. And so if you're not working out and doing something to combat that, you are losing muscle mass. And as you lose muscle mass, your body needs less and less to maintain homeostasis. Okay, so your body, you can't eat the same that you ate when you were 15. You can't. It is very scientific. Okay, and so you have to get to I had to get to that pain point. You guys have to understand that pain point where I did not like how I felt, and it was affecting every area of my life. It was affecting my marriage. It was affecting my energy levels with my kids. It was affecting how I interacted with other people. It was affecting, whether I wanted to go to activities, how I felt talking to people, my confidence levels. It was affecting every area of my life. This yo-yo cycling diet, circle of death I had going on. And I got to a point where I was like, enough. I refuse it. If I keep doing this for 5 years, if I keep doing this for 10 years, I allowed myself to get a snapshot of what my life would look like, what my marriage would look like. And I didn't like what I saw. I didn't like the distant relationship marriages I see all over the place. I didn't want it. You know, I didn't want, I see the parents sitting on the sidelines while their kids are running around they don't have enough energy to chase their kids. I didn't want that life, and that was my decision. So until you get to that point where you allow yourself to go down that road to see what your life could look like in 5 years or 10 years, should you not make any changes, will there any changes be made? Yeah. See, what you believe is what you conceive, and I believed 7 years ago that if I kept doing what I was doing, I would end up in the no-fly zone, like I call it. I would end up in a place that I didn't even recognize myself. I would end up as a, just like all the other 50% that ends up divorced or distanced or sleeping in different beds or at each other's throats, all of that. I let myself see how my actions and what I was doing with myself and how I was feeling my body and what I was doing with my time, where it was going to take me because of the compound effect in time over 5 years, 10 years. A lot of us don't let ourselves go here, right? And the problem is 5 years pass and you're like, how did I get here? And that's how we got there, these small decisions. And so until you let yourself go there, until you believe, like, wow, that's really where I headed, will changes actually start to take place. Right? And if you're not there, if you're at that place like I was 7 years ago, leading up to this, where I wasn't willing to make changes, I can tell you it was because I wouldn't allow myself to go there. I wouldn't allow myself to really admit how bad it was. I wouldn't allow myself to really admit how it was affecting my life. My ego was getting in the way. All kinds of things were getting in the way. But once I took down that protective barrier, that wall I had up, that perfectionism, I let it down. I let myself see where I was going. I was willing to make hard changes like tonight, which it does 7 years later. They're not hard changes, you guys. Yeah. They are normal to us. They become your new norm. It's on both sides of the spectrum. If for some people the norm is not having energy, being on high blood pressure medicine, being on high cholesterol medicine. Everybody is. No one has sex with their spouse anymore. It becomes your new norm. You're like, yeah, that's normal. You're hanging around friends that is normal. Like, no one really plays with their kids. No one plays ghosts in the graveyard or sets up obstacles. This is my norm. No one does it. But it can also go in the other direction, where it becomes your new norm, where you're not eating Papa John's. You're actually planning ahead and having fruit bowls and getting yourself a special pizza so that you don't hurt on the inside, that your stomach doesn't ache, that your energy levels don't tank.
And stuff like, there's some crazy awesome stuff out there now, like this. It's a paleo brand. It doesn't have to be paleo. It just happens to be grain free and dairy free, and it has almonds and walnuts, and it actually tastes really darn good. And it has a lot of protein in it. It fills you up. There's another thing. It's
on the go.
Same company. We're not sponsors or anything.
No.
But this is on the go, and then we just picked this up at the local grocery store. It's just like
just healthy granola.
Granola.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing, you guys. Like, a lot of people I get from a lot of people is like, I just don't have the finances to eat healthy. And you know what? Because I've been in your shoes, because 7 years ago when I started down this journey, Chad and I lived on a first lieutenant's income, which is nothing in the Marine Corps.
And second lieutenant's income.
Was it when I started? Oh, yeah. We lived in the red every month. We were $100,000 in debt. We had cars we shouldn't have and a house we shouldn't have. So I get it. I'm coming from that place that it's not that you don't have enough money. It's that it's not a priority. And that, I'm telling you, it wasn't a priority for me either until I allowed myself to have that pain point. And let me tell you some things that started to change. We didn't have cable anymore. We lowered the amount of minutes we had on our phone, or what's that called, Chad?
We changed the plan.
We changed the plan, so we had more money in our budget. We stopped eating out. Our date nights were not out at Applebee's. That's where we used to eat. But still, we blew $30 on our budget back then. That was a lot to us. So we stopped doing that. We had date night in. We actually got to know each other without food sitting in front of us. You know what I'm saying? And so it just became a priority, and that's what I want to plant in your guys' heart. As Chad and I share these tips with you guys, I want you to understand that we get it. We have, on some level, I was the big boned girl growing up. I was the overweight one. I was the one that had to get taped going into the Army because I was chubby. I get it. You know, my sister was super skinny and had a six-pack, and no matter what I did it. So I get the frustration. I do. But I'm telling you that once you kind of put your foot down, you say, you know what, the direction I'm going right now is not good. 5-10 years down the road, it's not going to be a pretty place. So I have to make some hard changes now. And Chad and I started reworking our budget. Right? We started doing different things, and Chad and I will share that with you guys, and we have that we're creating little tips to make wiggle room in your budget so that you can start taking care of you. I know we live in a society where that's not the norm. The norm is for us to people please, put everybody else first. I get it. I have a huge fear of rejection. I don't know where it comes from. I can't figure it out, but I'm a huge people pleaser. It's the thorn in my side. I've been working on it for 5 years at different conferences that I go to. Like, why is that an issue of mine? So I get that fear of rejection. I get that desire to want people to love you and like you. And so you put other people first. But I have to tell you, your oxygen is going to run out sooner or later. Just like on an airplane. They say put your oxygen mask on first, so then you have enough air to put on your kids, right? So you have enough, you can breathe, so you can now get it put on their face. And I'm going to ask you to think of your life exactly like that, because I walk around, I mentor a lot of people, I see a lot of people that they're running out of air because they're not putting on their own oxygen mask. So as you guys go into this weekend, I want you to let that marinate. What does it look like to put on your oxygen mask? Why does it need to become a priority in your life? How is it affecting the different relationships? Because I'm telling you, we only get one shot at this. We don't get another go, right? We don't get another go, and there comes a time when all of our decisions, good or bad, they add up and take us to where we're at, and sometimes it's too late. And I'm willing to look 5, 10, 15 years in the future, or I was 7 years ago, to say, you know what? I'm not going down that same road.
And that's what
I
we
see
do.
other people.
And that's what we do for our clients, and it's pretty awesome.
It is, and so
we can help them open their eyes and help them show them. And sometimes we're so in it, like you're so in the force that it's hard to see
another way out, right?
Yeah.
And that's where it helps to have someone walking next to you with love. Like, you don't need to be surrounded by people that just pat your back all the time. That doesn't do us any good. That got us where we're at. No, it's okay. Everybody is in debt. That's how we got $100,000 in debt. Everybody has credit. It's okay. Everybody has credit cards. Right. Everybody struggles financially. That's the kind of stuff I was told. Everybody gains weight. I mean, after their first kid, like, no one ever gets really back down to it. Oh, 3 kids? Girlfriend, you'll never wear a bikini again. Nobody has sex with their husband. Those are the kind of things I was told. You know what? You need to be surrounded by people who are like, no, I'm not going to let you settle. And that's exactly what Chad and I talk to people with love. Like, you know what? It is the easy way out to tell someone, it's okay.
Totally.
It's okay. Everybody's like that. But you need to get yourself surrounded by people that are willing to speak truth in your life for the good of you, because they love you, because they care. It's uncomfortable for us to tell people that, but I'll tell you what, I just listened to a friend of mine do a Facebook Live today that said because of this journey, she's not divorced. Because someone was willing to say the hard things to her, she's still together with him. Because we were willing to say the hard things to her, to Crystal, she is living her life with energy. She's not the miserable friend to be around anymore.
And she just possibly saved a marriage today.
Because it has a ripple effect. As she put her oxygen mask on, she could speak into other people's lives and put their oxygen mask on. So you guys, I want you to chew on that a little bit. Don't be afraid to say what you want. It takes courage, I get it, and you don't have to do it alone, but at some point in time, we have to put our foot down and say, enough. This is the direction I want to go, because there's only one you. There's only one you. You were put here for a reason. You are fearfully and wonderfully made for a time such as this, and you're put here to thrive. You're put here to thrive. So,
awesome. All
right, you guys. I hope that helped. Be intentional. Don't be afraid to stick out a little bit, not eat the pizza everybody else is eating, right? And take care of you. It's okay to do that. I'll talk to you guys later.
See ya.
See ya.